We're recording now.
I like the one where he's.
It's good.
Yeah, that was good.
Anyways, okay, so yeah, what did you watch? And like these will be like, remember the last time we did a list and you were like, I like to go rapid fire?
Check.
I love that.
Can you turn my headphone just a scooch? Check. Just a scooch more. Check. You talk.
Check 1, 2.
A little bit more.
Is that imperial
Check,
or
check.
a
You
metric?
turned it down.
Metric scooches.
I didn't turn it down?
I need it up.
How's that?
Check. Up a little bit more. Check. A little bit more.
3.6.
Check. That's good.
3.6 metric scooches in every imperial scooch.
My car gets 12 hogs to the 12 rods to the hog's head, and that's the way I like it.
Do you guys want a bottle of water or a drink or something?
Not right now, thank you.
Okay, all right. We'll take a break halfway through and rehydrate. So what'd you watch? 10 greatest horror villains of the 21st century, and then most low-key justified. Like very little justification for what they did. That's the key takeaway in that list. And then
I think they sometimes had lots of justification.
I agree.
Oh fuck yeah, King Kong!
Fucking
Come on.
low key.
All he did was exist.
Some
Right?
man fucked with him. He
Yeah.
can fuck back about it a little
Yeah.
bit.
We fucked with an ape and then made a horror movie about it. Wait a minute. Who's the real horror in that movie?
Right? The humans.
Humans. All right. 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to the Real Debaters podcast. Welcome to the place that asks that question: what happens when real life meets real life? I'm one of your hosts, Michael Petrow.
I'm Rob Strachan.
And sitting in the third chair, Mark Cowell. I don't know why.
That's fine.
I'm in a weird mood.
How was your day?
It was all right.
Long day?
It was a day.
Yeah. You had a long day too, right, Rob?
They're all fucking long.
Yeah, I had a long day
Tired of Excel.
This is going to be lazy Real Debaters, I think, ladies and gentlemen. We've all come off of a long fucking day.
No, I just drank a coffee, man. I'm jacked.
Oh, you jacked? Okay, well, we'll be
I'm
Jason
jacked. I
while
drank
I'm
some Timmy Ho's double.
I might be a little bitchy, but that's
Oh,
fine.
are you hangry? Do you want a snack?
No, I'll
Okay.
be fine. It might suit the topic.
You want a foot rub?
So, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This week,
I wasn't offering, just so you know.
This week we are offering you a real talk, which consists of
We're gonna foot rub your minds
Yeah.
with like engaging conversation.
We're gonna work your calluses through your skull, right through the bottom of your feet.
We're gonna
It's be a
skull
full-
fuck you with callus. What?
I don't know where that's going. We
What?
are offering you a who knows until we figure out what we've watched this week. We're going to give you a review as always if this is your first time, and then we're going to break into 2 different lists I found on the internet. One of them is best horror villains of the 21st century, so we are eliminating a lot of really well-known characters. And then number 2 is 10 horror villains who were kind of justified in what they did in the film. Before we get into that, we don't have a sponsor, but if you are a fan of the show and you want to sponsor the podcast, this would be where you do it. So we could talk about all the cool, fun shit that you do. If this is something that's of interest to you, just send us an email, send us a message on any of our social media channels. But moving on, let's step into fake life. Rob, what the fuck have you been watching?
I have a very, very comprehensive list today.
Sweet.
So first off, I just wanted to reference that this has arguably been
The longest time since you've been in here.
third worst year for me watching movies in the theater. And
Really?
that includes COVID. I don't know what it is this summer. I saw one movie in the theater all summer. I was thinking about this today, and that was the new Minions movie with my daughter. That's it.
Man.
Which is really disappointing because there were some really fucking amazing movies this summer.
They did.
Like I didn't see the new Thor.
Have you seen it since?
I've seen the first half.
Okay. Doesn't sound like you want to go back to it.
Oh, I totally want to watch it.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that in a second. But
Sure,
yeah, the new Minions movie was good though. So
Yeah?
if you like Minions,
The
go see it.
The Curse of Gru.
That's like the history. Like
It's basically when Gru is young. He's like 12 years old.
Baby Gru.
Yeah,
can see
baby
that's
Gru,
good.
and that's when the Minions first meet him. Blah 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 blah. It's pretty good.
What's the inception? We got a Minion on the fucking wall, and I've
Yeah.
never seen a Minions movie, which
What?
is really, really stereotypical.
You've never
Or
seen
not
a Despicable Me or a Minions movie?
No, I admitted that on like
oh, it's
one of
fantastic.
our previous episodes. I know. I've seen clips. I know it's funny.
And you gave me shit about not watching Schindler's List. What the fuck?
I think listener will agree with me. But that's okay. Unless I missed the part in the Minions.
Hard to find a more iconic characters than the Minions over the past decade.
I would say. Yeah.
for a sidekick, like they as a group, I would put in the sidekick category.
But how many? Like, if you went for kids' Halloween costumes over the last decade,
Yeah.
I bet you there's more
Or an
minions.
adult. Or if you wanted to go buy a kid's toothbrush.
Yeah, that's true. I would use a Minions toothbrush.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you do kids' birthday cupcakes. The Minions are like every second one is a Minion cupcake.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's funny is that I bet you somebody, and this is just my rough take on it. I bet you somebody was shaking up their Tic Tacs one day and they were like, "We can totally make some fucking characters out of these," and boom, here we go.
Well, they're simple, right? You know,
Yeah.
a yellow shape and just throw 1 or 2 eyes on it.
And blue jean overalls.
you're set.
And one sound. Like, and
Listen, they actually pay a voice actor to do that.
are you?
Banana.
That's not.
We should IMDb
Did you just
it.
banana?
I feel like it's
Banana.
banana because they love bananas.
Banana.
That's Bob. That's what Bob and Kevin always say. That Kevin always says that.
Yeah.
Banana.
Did
It's kind of like it's almost like they're speaking like Latin or something. Like it's kind of like like I feel like they're actually throwing Latin words in there, but honestly, I have no idea. It's probably just gibberish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody paid. Can you make gibberish? Sure. What did you just say? I don't know. I can say it again.
Awesome.
differently.
We're gonna pay you 0.1% of all the back end.
Wouldn't it be amazing to know?
Oh, you just made $5 million.
Wouldn't it be amazing to know that they were actually like there was lines and it's just sped up so much that it just sounds like gibberish, but if you
Right?
slow it down, it's actually
We need like a behind the
that would be
scenes.
amazing.
The movie, yeah.
What have you been up to today, Kevin? You're looking mighty nice in those blue jeans.
Hi, Bob.
Banana! And really he's saying, banana.
It's Barry White. Banana, baby.
Okay, so that's the only movie I saw in the theater this summer. I'm very embarrassed by this. Oh, wait, I saw Top Gun with you.
You
What am I
did.
saying?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
We went to the danger
I
zone.
totally
together.
fucking forgot about that.
That's okay. That's fine. I mean,
that movie was don't get me wrong. Was it like pure war propaganda film? Absolutely, and I fucking loved every second of it. I was just like, ooze on the military industrial complex. It's gonna
Put it
fuck
on
it.
me.
It's gonna skull fuck the shit out of me for 2 hours with Tom Cruise, and I'm gonna love every second of it. And think about how much Mark is so glad he's not there.
You know what this Cold War II needed was a fucking Top Gun movie. We need some fucking
enough.
bogeys and MiGs and
But nondescript enemies that you like, are they Russian? Are they Chinese? Are they some country that ends in Uzbekistan? Like, I don't know, but that's usually what it,
Oh, it's
Yeah.
it's
like one
it's
of those
a trope for sure.
One of those countries in Central Asia.
was he inverted?
I have no idea. I have no idea. The other show that I've been watching a TV show that I really, really like. It's kind of like restaurant porn for me, and that's The Bear.
You're the fourth. You're the fourth out of all of us who's talked about it.
Like, and I know I haven't been on the show a little bit, but
Okay.
I mean, I worked in restaurants for years, and when I watch it, I tried watching it with my wife, and she was just like this. She's like, I don't get it. It's so fucking stressful. I don't get this, and I'm like, this is relaxing me at the end of my day because I don't have to relive that. I get to relive it, but not from. And I get to watch somebody else go through that punishment that I've already gone through, and that actually makes me feel good.
I was amazed at how they create a sense of anxiety
Oh yeah,
in the audience.
That's how you sold me on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I literally am like fucking anxious and my heart's beating watching the show. I'm like, holy shit.
but that's what working in a kitchen's like. It's fucking insane. The other thing is, I love the small attention to detail. Like, there's this one scene where he comes out back to have a smoke. And he's talking to one of the guys, and he's drinking water, and he's drinking out of a 32-ounce plastic portion
You're not
cup.
a
I was like,
chef if you're not
spot on! Because you're not allowed to have fucking a glass
Yeah.
in the back to drink your drink. You
Can't have a
drink,
glass near the food prep.
because if you drop that shit, you got to fucking change all the food, all the inserts, and all that kind of
All
stuff.
the
It's a
ice.
fucking disaster.
It's breaking the glass and the ice behind the bar, and then having to huck all that ice
Dude.
back up there.
it's
so
a great premise.
It's
It was.
it's fucking fantastic. I
And
loved
it's Lip. We all love Lip from
Yeah.
Love him.
Shameless,
it.
right?
Love him.
I
I mean, I guess he'll never be able to do anything unless it's like the setting is Chicago now, but it is what it is.
I feel he's trapped in.
I never really
the Windy City.
stressed out character.
It's Southside Chicago.
Can you play an anxiety-ridden kid in Chicago? I think I can.
Yeah.
What am I doing this time?
Where's Frank?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the fluff that I've watched in the last week is
Would you fluff?
the fluff show.
Oh,
I
sorry.
wasn't a fluffer. Sorry, get your mind out of the gutter. This
But
is the
it's
show
so
I've been
fun.
watching with my wife. Like, when we just want to shut
Yeah.
our brains off. It's a Netflix show. It's called Dated and Related. It is the stupidest thing ever.
Go sell it.
But the premise is bunch of young, good-looking people, from the usual places, UK, Canada, US, blah blah blah.
The prettiest
blah,
of all crops.
right? And it's basically siblings, right? So you've got twins, either brother and sister, and then they go on the show, and then the brother or sister has to be the wingman to them hooking up with other couples, and like sometimes like these two twins are
I heard
dating
about
these
this
two
premise,
twins. It's the stupidest show, but it's just it's like a fucking train wreck, so I can never stop
We
watching
all
that
have those
shit.
guilty pleasure shows.
Totally.
We totally do. Keep going.
Yeah. So that's my watch.
And quite often that guilty pleasure show is like something you watch with your partner, and 'cause you
Absolutely.
can both kind of zone out. and-
It's a zone out. It's the kind of thing where I can
Half on your
literally
phone, half in the show.
I can
doesn't matter if
literally
you miss lines.
I can literally go on social media on my phone and watch the show and
Yeah.
not miss anything.
And
We
that's
send
yeah.
each other TikTok videos while watching.
Neither of you are watching. That's hilarious. No, I get it. Like, yeah.
There's no
I think-
plot. There's nothing where you're like watching and you're like, and that's part of the reason. Like Lord of the Rings, I've only watched the first episode because I literally need an hour where I'm undistracted and I'm going to be focused on it because I want to watch it, right? But I haven't really had an opportunity to do that to digest it.
I've been collecting shows like that I know need my attention.
Like
and
the
I
new
just,
Game of Thrones is a
I
good
can't.
example.
Yeah, and I can't get to them because I'm like, damn, I can't casually watch this.
Mm-hmm.
You could casually. You're right. I can't even sell that to you. You couldn't.
No.
I'm on. I'm
You're
so
doing a
on.
disservice to the excellence of those shows
Yeah, you are.
by not putting your phone away.
Missing the nuance, missing the glances, missing the moments between the characters that are not dialogue ridden. Like if you don't look, you'll miss totally. You'll see a dragon all the time because House of Dragons, there's WMDs everywhere. like dragons in the House of Dragons, they have delivered. I've seen 5 so far.
So what's your favorite part about that new show? The dragons or the incest?
Ooh.
I
Wait,
came for the dragon stage.
came
for the
for the-
incest.
That should be their tagline. Let's create that.
you
Came
know,
for the dragons, stayed for the incest.
until somebody pointed out to me that in the word Targaryen, the word Aryan exists. It was just gross to me. But then I applied science to it and thought, well, that dipshit in Germany tried to create an Aryan race, blonde hair, blue eyes. That's what they're doing. So I can swallow the really gross underage incest when I go, well, hey, back then they didn't know any better, right? So it's part of the fucking show. And at the same time too, like, it's edgy.
It's not an issue of back then. It's just an issue of there. And
True,
that-
you're right. Yeah,
that universe.
That is. Yeah.
Right?
It
And
just is.
sometimes having a grotesqueness within a universe gives us a perspective on our world, on where we don't want things to go.
Couldn't agree with you more. Could not agree with you more. Like, so the topics that House of Dragons is playing with are very relevant to now. Women in power, abortion, pregnancy. These are themes that are sewn into the show. Now, of the time, women were forced into marriages at such young ages, and they were forced to bear as many sons and hopefully no daughters as possible. And that is just what it is. And life has happened. Roe versus Wade has happened. Women in power is like the times are changing. So I don't know if they saw 2 years ago what was coming down the pipeline, but their commentary on today's shit's pretty neat.
I feel like those are topics that even prior to like the last couple of years have been relevant topics, right?
Yes,
because
very much.
They're always things that are always moving around in the zeitgeist, right? But I mean, you also have to look at it from the perspective from a historical standpoint. I mean, in the Middle Ages, if a woman had 6 children, there was a good chance only 2 made it to adulthood.
Yeah, your odds were drastically
when you
reduced.
scraped your knee and there was a 50-50 chance if you would die from infection, that's just the way
Never
it
mind
was.
Middle Ages, like up until like the 40s or 50s.
Well, I mean, modern penicillin has only been around since like the early 40s or like
Yeah.
the mid to late 40s.
Yeah, that's true.
And like our understanding of germ theory, and pasteurization has only been around since the 1880s.
Louis Pasteur.
Louis Pasteur.
I will pasteurize your things, and you will thank me for it.
We will pasteurize everything to the point where there's no nutrients in anything.
This dated and related back to you though for a second because I'll pick up Game of Thrones when I talk about my shit. But like, is it fun to watch somebody's? Is it significant? It's their relative or is it their friend who's acting as the wingman in the scenario? What's going on?
Oh, we're going back to this.
Yeah.
So the basically the people that come on are usually either brother and sister, or sister and sister, or brother and brother.
Speaking of incest,
right? So a couple of there's some identical twins, there's some paternal twins. There was 2 guys that were cousins, but they were like brothers kind of thing. And and I don't know, they do the typical thing where they'll have extra guys and not enough girls, and they'll make people go on some special
better
date.
than Fuckboy Island?
Yes, answer that question. Fuckboy Island did not bury the lead.
Is that Epstein's Island?
No, there's literally a show that's like
F-Boy Island.
Fuckboy Island?
It's on Crave.
Shut the fuck up.
I think we found your next show.
It's actually a TV show, like reality show?
Basically, they put a bunch of fucking dudes on an island, I think.
Dudes
and then
who fuck.
A girl has to wind her way through it and maybe find love or some kind of fucking...
So she's basically winding her way through like a bukkake gauntlet?
I
envision in my mind, that's the way I envision it.
That's the behind the scenes. That's in the featurette.
I think what their object to do somehow, I haven't watched it obviously, is to like convert these young men into
I believe so, yeah.
more upstanding citizens.
More
by masturbating all the time?
Less fuckboy, more good
See,
boy.
that's in my mind, that's not how I
was trying to think of something else.
Maybe I don't interpret fuck boys as like guys that like are going out to the bar and trying to fuck as many chicks as possible. To me, that's not a fuck boy.
Are you thinking of fuckboys like
a subservient guy that like takes a lot of dick,
like the opposite of a blood boy kind of thing?
Yeah, like that's kind of like that's where my mind goes. Like I don't know, but
okay.
I guess that's the new terminology for a dude that just wants hookups. Like
is fuckboy?
A player is like he's just a fuckboy.
You just fuck.
He's not relationship material. He's just
that's a good name to kind of degrade like the sexiness of that persona.
Sure. Yeah, it'll definitely bring down the idea that's what you want to be.
Hey, fuckboy.
Man whore.
Yeah, there it is.
I like man whore better, actually.
Yeah.
It's more of a ratings-friendly title, F-Boy Island, than man whore Island.
Like if you had to wear a badge of honor and it said fuckboy or man whore, which one would you wear?
Man whore.
Go.
I'd rather be a man than a boy.
I'm of the elder
and boy
whores.
whore sounds kind of pedo-ish. So
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
That sounds like someone's in the basement. My boy whore, right? Like that's very John Wayne Gacy to me. Speaking of Halloween, anyways.
Speaking of Dahmer,
I'm speaking of hey, how many fuckboys out of 10 do you give dated and related?
4.
But it's fun, right?
It was okay.
All right.
The people weren't even that beautiful on it. Like in some of those shows, you're just like everyone is just like whoa. Like even the dudes, I'm just like damn, right? But this one was like everyone was good looking, but I wasn't like. Damn!
I feel like they're gonna cast for like hot or not on some like whatever side of the island, and then they bring like 3 times the people, and then they film like the B-roll in fucking Dated and Related on the other side of the island.
It's just another show.
Okay, you 2 are cousins. You act like brothers. Go. We paid to get you here. We might as well get some material.
I want everything out of you.
What's the not American Idol, but the other one where they like put together the teams? They'll have like 5.
The Voice.
Not The Voice, the other one. The other Simon Cowell one.
America's Got Talent?
Not America's Got Talent. Anyway, you know Harry Styles, his band, like that's how they got together.
Oh yeah, Making the Band.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Simon Cowell production?
Yeah.
Wow, they did a Making the Band on O-Town too.
Yeah.
There was a couple Making the Bands. That was an MTV thing, I think.
Yeah, but this was basically like sometimes they would have 5 people and they weren't all good enough to go as a solo artist. So they would put all 5 of them together and go, we're going to make you a band, and then they actually ended up becoming awesome.
That's
where One Direction came from.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Anyway,
I did, and then I didn't.
Yeah. Then you forgot it on purpose.
And now you made me remember it again.
It's called memory recall. It's like a total recall. Do you remember being on Mars?
Do you remember the woman with 3 tits? Go. What did I watch?
Actually,
it's called triple memory.
Triple Mamorai?
I don't know.
Oh, all right. What were we going to say?
I was gonna take the segue
Sure.
of what he said and then go next.
You go next then.
Because he asked me.
I do this every
He
week.
asked if you do remember.
Okay.
And that segues into. I started watching Severance.
Please, talk to me. Talk to me, Goose.
I love that show.
Oh,
And,
my God. It's so
uh,
glad you started watching it.
Yeah,
man.
like
It's a-
speaking of not remembering, I had no idea. Like I've only watched episode 1. So I'm just a newbie. And for 45 minutes of episode 1, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like it's sucking you in, but
Totally.
you don't know what's happening.
It's because it's like the way the soundtrack is and the way they cut everything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of got a weird feel of it. It's like you don't know what year it is.
Oh,
You're like,
no.
You're like, is it late 90s? Is it like 2015? You can't tell.
Because like in the real world, in the home life, they're driving like K cars and shit, but the houses look modern.
There is a play on like the microwaves from the 60s, but the house is from, 2010 building code.
Yeah, and then like it's this crazy fancy modern building, but the terminals that they sit down and use are like archaic. It's bizarre. I really like
There's
it.
less eye strain with the
Yeah.
monochromatic
It's
screen.
When I first
No repetitive injury. In
Hey,
Severance.
hey, do you have Cross Country Canada on this bad boy? Because
Yeah,
want a standing desk.
I think it's a really neat premise, and I think it's going to be great. I've heard great things.
Just
I've
I'm
heard,
so excited.
I heard there's
Just-
great like cliffhangers and some
Dude.
neat stuff, and
I like want to be your eyes rewatching it for the first time.
I want to be your Sherpa. Message me after, or him. Come at us after and ask questions.
it's already
if
in the
you're
first
confused.
episode. You already get blown away numerous times
Yeah,
by
you do.
things that you didn't fucking know, like that surprise the shit out of you. So,
John Turturro's so good in it too.
I haven't seen him yet. Yeah,
Oh, well, he's coming.
I'm sure he's coming.
It's not a spoiler.
Well, the surprise, and I kind of predicted this.
What is the end
one,
of the first
that his
episode again?
neighbor is his boss at work.
Oh
Yeah.
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 I'm like the neighbors. That's the only one I called.
But
like, his
their
neighbor's gonna be his
their
fucking boss at work.
interaction is very binary. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Great, bye. Like you can already tell that something's afoot there, and that's
Yes.
very impressive that you caught it so fast because that is a big.
Now I haven't figured out whether or not she
Is good or
doesn't
bad.
have a severance and she's monitoring him or something.
Okay.
So, but
What do you think of?
You'll have to wait and find out.
yeah,
Mark.
right.
What's his face? The guy who loves the waffle parties.
Oh, he was good. Yeah,
Eric something or other. I can't
that
remember
was a
his name.
weird interaction
Oh,
too.
like the chubby guy with the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I got to
So
do
great.
so and so we can review it, and I'm going to miss out my waffle party.
Right?
Like he just says it so matter of factly that we're supposed to interpret from that like when you do something good in this office, they throw you a waffle party.
Have you figured out what a waffle party is yet?
No,
It's a weird sexual thing.
it probably
It's
is.
blue.
No, I did.
Yeah,
it's-
Google it. I heard it's
Yeah, I
great.
heard
It
blue waffle.
feels very like everything is unexpected and it just feels new. It's been a long time since I've watched a show when I wasn't predicting the next thing
Nice.
that's going to happen, and it's a neat feeling when you find a show like
It's
that.
a good story.
It's got a good Wes Anderson weirdness to it without being Wes Anderson. Does
Yeah.
that make
Yeah.
sense?
That's a good take.
like
on it.
just he walks down white hallways for like 2 minutes, like 12 minutes into the first episode or 10 minutes in, and I'm like this is like you
But
really
you're like, where the fuck is he gonna go?
Yeah,
where's
like
he
you,
going?
You really have to know your shit to be able to make that scene last that long, but still work.
Mhm.
And it was impressive.
it's
I
a
liked it.
show don't tell.
Yeah,
It's a great example of we're showing you how weird this building is.
We're leading you down a
Yeah.
maze.
You know
Yeah.
you've gone down. How far down you don't know, and there's
No.
no windows. So you as the viewer feel like you're in the room with them because there is no way out until you're out.
and then
and
they-
you're almost like it's almost like you're trying to map things in your own head.
yeah,
Just like they're
I
probably
am.
trying
Yes,
to map
yeah,
things.
yeah.
and
Where
you're
am I?
thinking, you're
It's-
like, okay, so the elevator has something to do with it because they change in the elevator, and then I'm like, but then he goes home the
Warmer,
first day,
warmer.
and I'm like, he didn't change his watch, I think, back after the first day. And I'm like, that seemed weird. And I'm like, I don't fucking know what's happening. And it's all confused. Well, he actually looks different in the elevator, right? Like they change perspective.
I think
Body
they changed
mannerisms
the
and-
lighting a little bit.
If you watch it, they actually like elongate
Oh, do they do the format change?
They move his face wider when he's going to home life, and then his face narrows at work.
So they change the perspective on the camera lens.
I don't know if they're doing a whole, but if you watch it closely, it's like.
What was
And the
that?
guy in the first episode, Petey, makes a comment. You look different, not at work.
So you know something.
Yeah.
He's from the before time.
The other thing is too is that each of the characters that you meet inside the office, you're intrigued what goes on in their real life,
100%, right?
right?
Yeah.
And you don't know, and they don't know, right? Which is so weird.
And to throw the power reversals, like
Just
there's
wait,
just
just
so
wait.
many things you can do with it.
Oh yeah, just
You
wait.
know, I'm really excited.
There's
going
gonna
to
be a second season too, eh?
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I actually just listened to a podcast with Ben Stiller interviewed, and they talked a lot about Severance and how good it was,
Was that
and
some
how
Dax
exciting
Shepard?
it was, and yeah, so that really got me to I need to go watch Severance. So, no, that's what I've been watching. That I've been watching She-Hulk, which I really enjoy.
Fuck the haters.
Yeah, I think
the
She-Hulk's
haters.
awesome.
I have such a fucking hard spot for green women now for some reason.
so
I can't
wait,
watch Star
just,
Trek.
Just to clarify, when you say hard spot, you just mean boner?
Yeah. I'm not going to talk my way out of that one.
That's fair.
Yeah, no.
It's the opposite of a soft spot.
Exactly. It's the opposite of hard off, soft on. What is
Yeah.
it?
How many Cialises do you give She-Hulk?
I'm such a
I will
sucker.
not dignify that. I will not dignify that with a response.
How many Viagras?
I'm such a sucker
All
for breaking of the fourth wall, and that's what I love about. that
Welcome
show.
to the obligatory wedding episode.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Oh, they break the fourth wall in
Oh yeah,
She-Hulk?
she
Countless
breaks the
times.
fourth wall.
Oh,
crazy.
cool.
She's very much her and Deadpool are like the two characters that do it. right?
Oh, okay.
and they did it in the comics, right?
They did in the
Oh,
comics.
She
yeah.
did do it in the comics.
In
that's
Sensational
right.
She-Hulk is very breaking of the fourth wall.
Hmm.
So, like the cover of Sensational She-Hulk, the first one, that's that pink cover, and she's standing there holding a copy of Savage She-Hulk, saying, "You better go out and buy my fucking basically, you better go out and buy the book this time. This is your last chance." Like talking to the audience on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
number
yeah.
one. So, it's good.
Can
I like
ask you two questions?
Yeah.
First one is, would you do Severance? What you know you know the
Yeah,
premise. You know
I
what
would.
Okay.
Just right off the bat, I probably would.
Great. I want to revisit that at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And second, would you do She-Hulk?
Would
I
you do
would.
Severance? Would you do
I would. I'll. Yeah. And second,
Would you take her on a date?
would you be the guy that hooks up with her as She-Hulk and then is like, I completely don't want anything to do with you? Or would you walk around in public with her as She-Hulk? Like, would you be like, this is my She-Hulk?
No,
I feel you'd be proud. I feel you wouldn't hide.
I'd be worried she'd break my dick off.
I think I'd want to like be at home and cuddle with Jen and go out to dinner, and then when we're hitting the town, then She-Hulk can come out or playing sports.
That's what I'm
That's fair.
saying. Yeah,
That's
okay.
fair.
You would be the guy who's like, I respect both parts of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen
Hulk
Beer-
in the streets and a Jen in the sheets?
Exactly.
Oh shit! Look at you.
I ate dinner before the show this time. My blood sugar's not dropping. I'm
A
sharp.
lawyer in the streets and
Did
a
you smoke
Hulk in the
weed
bed.
There you go. Yeah.
Did you smoke weed?
No, I don't know.
Maybe.
It's a possibility.
Okay.
No, I'm enjoying it. So those are probably the two that I've.
That's awesome.
It's a big sports time of year, so we're watching a shit ton of
Yeah,
sports.
you're watching
so-
5 football games a day.
and a baseball and hockey start. Like it's like this vortex of sports.
We just did.
How do you have time?
See, but sports is that's right now, that's our brainless. Like you can put
Yeah.
a game on and do whatever.
Yeah.
You
Totally.
go cook dinner.
Totally.
You can do chores, and then you look back in. You're like, okay, this is happening now.
Well, see, my thing when
Baseball
I'm watching
especially.
shows is I actually watch video podcasts and I watch stuff on YouTube. So
Yep.
that's what fills all of that in between.
Okay, that's your
And I'm
mind list.
actually finding that watching long form podcast videos is actually that's what's eating into my watching TV and movies time now
Sure.
too. And I'm actually kind of almost enjoying that more on some level.
New rock stars have started doing their panel long
Yes,
form
and live too.
podcasting. Yeah,
Live on YouTube. They've
That's
got
cool.
the clout to do it. That's nice.
like a 4-person panel.
Yeah, and then they do the 4-person panel, and then Voss he's like on the panel, like he's always throwing it to them, being like, "Hey, if you missed the panel, they really picked up on this in his breakdowns." How many? How many? What's his name? How many abominations out of 10?
On She-Hulk,
Yeah.
I honestly think She-Hulk is. It's a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
At
I
least.
agree.
The one thing, and I'll say, and this is the argument that people had for Thor. It's the argument that people have for She-Hulk. People complained about Moon Knight. because nothing is what
People
people
fuck
wanted.
off.
And what I think Marvel's doing is great. And people say, oh, Marvel's doing too much. I'm like, no, what they're doing is they're taking this plethora of stories from their universe and they're making a comedy here. They're making a horror movie here. They're making a big action movie here using those characters. It's not all about making like the Avengers 20 times. It's taking
Miss
these
Marvel
characters.
is like a high school kid. Like
yeah, it's basically a
teenage
teen coming of age comedy.
show. Yeah.
Now, as someone
Right?
who's
It's fucking the Wonder
And
Years.
just for the record, Moon Knight fucking rules.
And Moon Knight was fantastic.
That man deserves an Emmy.
We have a lot of time here. I want to ask you this. As somebody who has such a vast comic book collection and is collecting constantly, your mind's on it now. So do you, as you go back through She-Hulk, let's say, like, are you noticing that She-Hulk as a comic book is great as a comedy series, as a comedy lawyer series? Like, do you get that feeling from the book that this is a great avenue for it?
You see where they're pulling from.
Okay.
And so many of the characters have different story arcs over the years. So like this one, they're pulling from the Sensational She-Hulk, which is like her second solo series.
So what,
Not
that late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah. And it's that campy sort of legal drama shit, right?
Which was like kind of the second golden age of Marvel.
yeah, it's
there.
got lots of humor and it's quick and punchy and not really deep, but that's good.
Now, to that point,
Who did the art on those comics?
Oh God, I don't even know in that
Do you know
era.
who did the pencils? Was it somebody big?
the art.
I don't think Sensational She-Hulk was somebody huge.
I
but
thought
I'd have to
didn't
look.
Liefeld do She-Hulk
No.
at some point?
Didn't.
My second
No?
question is, if She-Hulk was a big
His
action,
hands are too small.
a big action sequence, right? Or if She-Hulk was turned into the Marvel movies that we know, would it suck?
I think you need this to establish her as the Hulk a little bit, and I think down the lines you could maybe replace Hulk with her without much of a problem.
Do you think they're
Totally.
gonna? Do you think they're
I'll
gonna
take
fit her
it.
into the Avengers
Oh,
movies?
yes.
but it
Yeah,
would have
yeah,
to be
yeah.
transitional
Yep.
somewhere there. Yeah.
Okay, that's great, because if it's a funny comic book, then it should be kind of a funny, campy story, right? Like to make, and I think that's
I
where
hope they
people
bring
get
us. I hope they give us Gray Hulk
Gray Hulk, Red Hulk, Green Hulk, She-Hulk.
because I like Gray Hulk because he's not as strong, but he's super smart.
Yeah, there's all the variations. I'm just saying, like, when people bitch, I think they bitch because the Avengers set the standard, and now they've veered so far off from what the standard is, and they
But
forget.
those are true comic book. Those are people that aren't.
They're also movies.
They're not comic book fans.
Yeah,
Because
no,
if you
you're
look
right,
at the
yeah.
evolution, and I mean, if you kind of take like late 60s all the way up to, say, early 2000s as kind of like that quote unquote, that Marvel arc that is kind of the quintessential period, because then everything kind of changed a little bit after that. You know, that there's a huge evolution of these characters and teams over that time. Look at the fucking X-Men, for God's sake.
No, I get that. Like, the average amount of people out there who see a Marvel movie are not the three of us in here who are entrenched and love it so much. But as someone who is, Mark being that person, he knows that if you read the comic books and then they went and made a weird version of the show and it didn't match up the humor and the campiness, like a lawyer comedy is a perfect avenue for what I hear this story is. So it was a comedy in the books. If it was a big action thing on TV, it wouldn't feel right? It would be like, this is not what I know as a character. So I think that's where people get butthurt. They never read the books. They don't understand the characters that everybody loves. So when they see this crazy direction that WandaVision took and this weird direction that She-Hulk is taking, they go, that's not Marvel. Well, no, you don't know what Marvel is actually. Marvel is this.
Totally.
It's just not what you've been served for so long. So stop being so fucking butthurt and try a new thing.
Yeah, there's
Point
lots
taken.
of tongue-in-cheek humor, and there is those epic, dramatic
She-Hulk smashes a lot.
stories, right? It's just you're not necessarily going to get it in this episode of She-Hulk, but
No.
maybe you'll get it in like Falcon and Winter Soldier was not comedy; it was just fucking action. It's like a
Totally.
new world order
Yeah.
and people fighting against it, and and if people like that as their thing, then so be it. I just like all of them. Sometimes I want a comedy, sometimes I want an action, and they can all be Marvel.
They're all
There's going to be
Marvel.
a Marvel horror, right? They're releasing
Werewolf by Night.
right? Werewolf by Night. Yeah,
Nobody knows what that's about, but it looks like it's
with
a film
Man
noir.
Thing in it, and yeah, it's like a
Man-
dark.
Man Thing, like the Swamp Guy.
Yeah,
Cool.
there was a quick cameo they showed at the trailer for it, and
Let's get into the show. I'll give you my weekly. So
What'd
movies.
What'd you watch?
It's all gone Pete Tong. I went back to that for a minute.
Oh, I love that with the cocaine
Cocaine Badger.
badger. Oh my god, that shit's so
Do you
funny.
know it's all gone Pete Tong, Mark? So yeah.
That would be a yes.
Yes. I would.
It's a weird movie.
It's
It
a
is
fucking. It's so fucking good.
But
though.
it's fun and it's cute and
So the main guy in that movie, what famous fantasy TV show was he in?
Game of Thrones. He was the head of the men. He was Beric Dondarrion's right hand who carried the flag for the men with no banners. Thank you.
Oh, you were right on top of it.
Nerd.
Yeah. But no, I just went back to it because it was
Love
on Strombo's like 20 best music movies of that year when it came out, and it's always stuck with me. I just love the
Like
I love the death
George
aspect of it.
Strophilopoulos?
Snuffleupagus. I love the overcoming of the deaf thing. I love, like, even if it's not even close to being a true story, I just love how he was like, hey, I can feel the rhythm of the scotch in this glass. I'll be able to figure out music for the rest of my life. Like, that's just fun, right?
Yeah, he puts his feet on the subs.
Right? And he's like, yeah, did you make this? Yeah, I made this. I've never heard it, though. You've never listened to your own album? Like, that kind of shit is just fun to watch. And it's over the top. So,
But isn't that Beethoven?
essentially, yeah, I guess you could say, yeah, you could.
Beethoven
I
was
could see some
deaf.
Beethoven, and yeah, maybe it's when Beethoven went crazy because he went deaf.
That was Mozart, actually.
Was it Are you fucking with me?
No, Mozart's the one who went crazy and died really young.
I'm sorry, I'm fucking up my
Beethoven. So Beethoven
Probably
like
had syphilis.
his yeah.
Snuffleupagus.
There's a lot of syphilis going around
Beethoven's
like that.
probably his most famous symphony is his Ninth Symphony. I'm
Yes.
pretty sure he was deaf when he composed it.
My goodness, to remember the sound of a note and to know that that's where it is on a
But
bar.
also, he's writing a fucking orchestra.
That's
so,
true.
So
So
think
he's-
of the
yeah.
layered things in this. Now, maybe he wasn't completely deaf, but partially, like mostly deaf.
Maybe
I
he
don't
had
know.
synesthesia,
What is that?
where you cross your senses, so you like see
He hears
sounds
color.
and you
Possibly.
hear
yeah,
flavors, and
Yeah.
so some people can like see music.
aren't those
That's
savants?
that can be a common trait of autistic people.
Yeah, synesthesia
Interesting.
crossing over.
Yeah, they also see some autistic people. They'll see numbers not as numbers, but as like colors or patterns or images,
And that's why they can do some of the
things they can do.
in not autism, but people that are savants.
Yeah, but they would be
Yeah.
quote unquote, I guess, considered on the spectrum.
Well, there's people that are like savants that aren't on the autism spectrum. They just have these amazing abilities, but they don't have any deficiencies to go along with.
Yeah, but they still might be like socially awkward or
Yeah.
Something like
Speaking
that.
of savants, I've been watching the
Not uncoordinated.
Chrissy says she's got this thing, and I mean, I have a stepdaughter, that is on the autism spectrum, but there's people that have like Asperger's, and then say like I have autism, right? But you're like on the really like mild,
Yeah.
right? And Chrissy always makes a joke of it because I had like a little piece of skin cancer on my face. And
a mole.
right, well, it was cut out. Like I have a big chunk that went missing from my face, and I had skin cancer. And I joked around with
when I
it, like there
chopped
was
that
something
up.
coming up, and I'm like, "Well, I'm a survivor." And like, you had like the Asperger's of cancer. And I'm like, fair enough. But she makes
You're
jokes
like-
about it, right?
Yeah.
A little bit. I heard a guy that was on a TikTok video, and I'll let you go on. He's a guy, and he introduces his autistic friend, and they're telling about the funniest joke because the guy who's on the spectrum is really quick-witted, and he's apparently fucking hilarious. So they're talking about the funniest quip that he shot back at somebody. And they go to him, and he's like, and here's my friend who's on the autism spectrum. He's like, well, I'm on the autism spectrum, but I'm kind of like on the Scoville units. I'm in between like jalapenos and and ghost peppers. Like, so not like right maxed. That's fucking hilarious. I'm like, yeah.
Did you save it?
Oh, yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah, I can find it quickly. I
Please.
followed them. It was pretty funny.
So what else have you watched?
Well, I was just gonna say I can tie it into savants. I watched the Savant of Serial Killers. I've been chewing through Dahmer and watching.
How is that?
I mean, like, okay, not an easy watch. Definitely, I don't want to put all the focus on that because it shouldn't be. Right? It's not a topic that.
So when you say not an easy watch, and I know you've been saying that in some like us chatting in our group chats and
yep.
stuff, what do you mean
What's
by
my-
not an
sure.
easy watch?
What I mean is that
Like, are you in a ball?
no,
Like
no.
Like
You're not
in the
gonna.
fetal position?
Not an easy watch.
Like when
as
you're watching
in
Requiem for a Dream?
the gross injustices that the city of wherever the hell he's from, I can't remember. I think it's Wisconsin. The cops
Madison?
that
Milwaukee?
and
Green Bay.
there was just a lot of obvious things that went on and were blatant, and I think they were missed. And I don't know. I think they were missed honestly because of a time where being gay was like really, really taboo.
Was Dahmer gay?
Dahmer was gay.
I did not know that.
Dahmer was gay.
I didn't know what he meant.
Were his victims all men?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
And
quite a lot of them black men.
Yes.
Yeah.
interesting.
Yes.
I honestly, I did not know that. I
Like-
don't know a lot about him.
I'm gonna ask the room if you saw a guy driving around with multiple garbage bags in the back of a vehicle after he was swerving, would you maybe go, "What do you got there?" And if he goes, "I've got clippings from my lawn at 2 a.m," I mean, sure, yeah, okay, you got clippings in the back of your car at 2 a.m.
It was
Also,
also
at the same time, how many people are driving around with clippings of their lawn in the back of the car at 2 a.m?
Here's the thing, though, right?
And this is from a civilian.
You're also looking at it from the guise of somebody that lives in 2020 and not in the 70s.
Yes,
And in the 1970s, a pickup truck wasn't a common thing.
it's actually,
You're also watching a show called Dahmer
Yeah.
instead of watching like fucking Cut My Lawn. Because they're already fucking biasing you by just what
Yeah.
you're watching.
very true.
So
But
you're
you don't-
looking for the
But
inconsistency.
you're
So
seeing,
here's-
you're seeing a sedan, which to you having garbage bags in the backseat of a sedan seems bizarre to you, because you think to yourself, well, doesn't this person own an SUV or have a hatchback or have a pickup truck that they would put that in? And maybe that type of vehicle wasn't commonplace or didn't exist at that time.
I am applying a
Right.
2022 lens to a 1970s. You're totally right.
the
You're
days
totally
when you
right.
tied a new mattress to the roof of your car instead of putting it in the back of your minivan.
And you're right. Like I'm tainted by
like
every,
minivans didn't exist until 85,
God
bro.
damn it, guys! I'm tainted by like multiple episodes of Dateline. Like I've turned into some fucking like internet sleuth over here, and I'm like, I know what's going on.
I know the law.
You know,
I've
like-
seen Law and Order.
Or you
You know-
just watched Making a Murderer and you're like, I'm going to fucking figure out why they fucked this one up. You're looking for it, right?
Right, yeah, and it's Ryan Murphy, so it is leading. Right, we are leading to the birth of Dahmer, and you go through when he's young, then when he's just finding himself, and then when he's on the path, and you get that 3 times an episode.
Was he drunk when they was
He
swerving?
drank a lot all the time ever.
Yeah, but back
he
then
was
drinking and driving wasn't illegal. It was
I know,
encouraged.
but he was just a heavy drinker. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
couldn't do what he did without drinking. There is also a side to it that I can understand why. I mean, if you don't like a thing, don't watch it.
Yeah.
At the same time, not checking with some of the family's victims' families at all. Apparently, like they really didn't say, "Hey,
Ooh, that's not good.
You should expect this at the very least. You should expect this." Like, I'm not such a heartless asshole anymore where I'm like, don't
Why
watch
did he have
it.
the garbage bags in the back seat?
Because he was going to dispose of his.
Was the
first-
trunk already full?
Probably. I mean, they don't get into that.
Like
One
those
of the
old-
most disturbing stories I heard, and I don't know if have you watched all of it? Or?
I'm halfway through.
Is the one where he basically takes one of his victims and like cuts a big chunk of his skull out and then pours boiling water into his brain. And his reasoning is he basically wanted to have like a living, like a sex dummy that's still alive but doesn't think. So he did this to the guy, and one of the people escaped, and the fucking police stopped him. And he actually came up, "Oh, this is my boyfriend. We were fighting," and he actually talked the police out of it. And this guy had a big chunk of his fucking skull missing and had half of his brain destroyed. And that was a bunch of Dahmer's things, is that he wanted to keep the thing alive, like his victim alive, to do whatever he wanted to do with him. He's fucked up.
I haven't
fucking
seen that yet.
kidding me?
No,
Yeah, it's some twisted shit.
He's
Holy
up there, man.
Shit.
get-
Thanks a lot. I'm not gonna sleep tonight.
They show you
Note
when
to self: do not watch this show.
when the two officers bring back a guy they find who's like, I'm running away from a guy who tried to kill me and has handcuffed me. They then take him back to their apartment, and when they're going through the spoiler alert, when they're going through the drawer, they come across pictures of the headless victims. Did a pretty good job for whatever they made in those photos. Like you see headless corpses. You see what comes out of the fridge that he was holding. You see the head chopped off in the fridge. Like this, Jimmy said that this show is going to separate the true crime enthusiasts from the sickos. Like it does put you on notice of like, yeah, we're going to tell it all. Why? I don't know why. I don't know why. The popularity, I would imagine, right?
No, I think it's important that we see what is the most horrifically grotesque thing that humans can do, so that we have that point of context.
Frame of reference.
Absolutely.
Sure, and I mean, they do show you that he is a product of nature, not nurture. I mean, his father did try to love him and did show an interest in him, and he was into taxidermy. He loved to kill animals and cut them open, or they would get roadkill, and then they would stitch them back up and try to form them. Like,
Yeah.
and that was a father-son thing that they did. Like, that wasn't something that he did by himself.
Yeah, that's not weird.
Who you would normally think.
It's totally not weird.
It's hard in a lot of ways. It's intense.
Sounds like Dexter and his
Oh yeah.
stepdad there. Or,
Yeah. It's just violent. It's grotesque. It's gruesome. It's hard, but it is all the things that he did to his victims. He was hard. He was grotesque. He was brutal. So if you're going to tell the story, but at the same time, some heads up of like, here's this big
You
media
mean heads
push.
off?
Heads.
well, it sounds like
It sounds like a doozy.
It sounds like he would maybe qualify as one of the top horror villains of the 21st century. If there was a movie made about him, Mike.
I could not. Well, I mean, 10-episode miniseries, just a long movie.
Hey,
right?
you know what? Before we get into that, can
Yeah.
I just ask, and that everyone can just like give their quick synopsis?
Sure.
Deadpool 3. Are you guys excited?
Oh yeah, that happened today.
Can we talk about? Can we
in the
talk?
last 24 hours?
Can we
Let's
talk?
give
Can we
that a
talk
minute.
about that because that's pretty fresh.
Let me put my seal of approval on it. I give I give Dahmer so far 8 grotesque buckets of acid out of 10. It is shot
Does
well.
he use acid?
He does. He
Okay.
keeps a jar of a 48 gallon in his bedroom, and there is a body in there decomposing when they
Yeah.
arrive.
See, I feel like in the 1970s it was probably easier to get that kind of thing. Nowadays, you probably need a little bit more ID
Yeah.
to purchase that.
Yeah, not just like I'm Tim. Sure, here you go, Tim.
Here you go,
some-
here you go, Tim. Here's your industrial sized vat of hydrochloric acid.
Right. So, anyways, yeah. But anyways, okay, Deadpool. Yes, back to that. Mark, you go first. What is like? What? How did you feel? First of all,
When I saw it, I flipped on and I saw this little I don't know, an ad for one of the gossip things, whatever, on my phone. Like Google suggested it, whatever it was, Screen Rant or something.
Yeah.
It's like Deadpool 3 announces Wolverine. I'm like, what the fuck? And I start looking into it, and they said on his Twitter, and right away I went to Twitter and I watched the video, and the way they did it was fucking amazing. I've been this is what I've been waiting for a while. Was the Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Deadpool meets Wolverine in a movie, and it just made I was like a kid at Christmas opening up the best toy that I wanted.
hey,
And this is it. And I got 2 years to wait. Like, this is going to be 2 years of anticipation.
Hugh, you want to do Deadpool 3? Sure, Ryan. I wanted a fuck you, Ryan. That would have. I think that was the right line.
Fuck
at the
you,
moment.
mate.
It's going to be so good.
Rob.
So good.
I'm gonna say something a little controversial here.
Oh, hot
Okay.
take.
So I love the chemistry between the two, like all their like little videos, ragging on each other, all that kind of stuff. Hugh Jackman has been a phenomenal Logan and Wolverine. He's been fucking top notch and awesome. This is my only gripe with it, other than the fact that Hugh Jackman is still too
Careful.
tall to be Wolverine, in my personal opinion.
You're still,
I-
you're still hanging on to that. That's a
I had to
problem.
say that just to piss you off.
I know. That's like Tom Cruise for Mark.
This is, the first rendition of Wolverine officially in the MCU, correct?
Correct.
I was really hoping.
Also Deadpool.
I was really hoping that it was going to be a refreshed actor doing it.
So
And that's my only qualm is this kind of like a standalone movie and it's not going to fit into the whole arc? Is this going to be, you know what I mean? That's my only thing is now, because I know there's going to be another X-Men movie soon, and obviously there's going to need to be a new casting of Wolverine because Hugh Jackman's, I think, ready to pass that torch on. How does that all work together?
was it confirmed that in film, in Logan, it was 2029? Because in the response video, they say, first of all, we understand Logan died in 2029, or Wolverine died in Logan in 2029. So we're not touching that. They've admitted that they're not touching that. That's a hard date. And to set a hard date means you've now got to pivot around shit, right? You've got to either be pre or post for your Wolverine. So
It's also called time travel. It's also called
multiverse, right? So we can pull our new Wolverine from multiverse 1.235. That's 2035 in another.
Well, especially
universe.
if they're going to introduce Bishop at some point too in X-Men. He's from the fucking future.
Yeah,
right.
You can play now,
and if you're going to pull
Cable's
in
also from the
fucking future.
Yeah.
So if you're going to pull those guys in,
back too.
So I don't know. Anyway.
But to the point, yeah.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be cool. I think the premise apparently is it's going to be some type of buddy type kind of comedy kind of thing.
That's what they were joking
heard the
about.
rumor?
I hope that'll be fucking hilarious and amazing.
What's the rumor?
Like a buddy road trip movie.
The Bob's Burgers girls pitched. Both of them have to get to an Avengers event. It's across the country, and they go on a road trip, and shit happens.
I think that's
hilarity ensues.
Regardless, I think they're going to play off each other really well. You're going to have Wolverine is a straight man, and it's going to be great. And
it's the new Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon.
And I'm excited to see it. However, I was hoping that there was going to be a passing of the torch at some point. And
there will be.
I for sure. And I'm sure they're going to. Marvel's so good at fucking working this fucking magic to make it all work together, and I know it'll be great.
Yeah,
I'm just really want what's his face from Kingsman?
Taron Egerton.
I fucking want him.
Me too, bud.
I want him to be the.
I think that's
Wolverine.
still gonna happen.
He had a meeting, and we all know what he looks like. There's no point. There's no point in being like Cyclops.
Well, apparently
Fuck
he's put 20 pounds on too.
If you watch Blackbird on Apple, you will see Wolverine. I think he's auditioning as Wolverine in Blackbird because his prisoner character I don't think had to put on as much weight as he did. He had to show, I guess, a physical change, but he puts on superhero weight for a prison movie. And you're like, are you trying to be like Kevin Feige? Look at these pecs. Look at these hands.
No doubt,
claws,
right?
Like he's signaling that he can, right?
I think with this whole, and I haven't really looked where the release date falls with other movies, but I think you're still wrapping.
What, you don't have it committed to memory?
Well, it just happened. I meant to do that today, but you're still wrapping the Kang story, which is the time variance and alternate timelines.
I think that's 2025, right?
Yeah, and this is 2024, so it's still going to be in the midst of potential alternate timelines and variants and whatever else. So that's why we can get Wolverine in there and then drift out to.
What about you, Mike? Are you excited?
I'm so excited that.
How many 6 to 12s do you give this?
It's a She-Hulk. I am so excited because of the shit. Like, I mean, yes, I'm excited to see the two of them play together. I'm excited for everything that they've created off screen to be now on screen in character. Like, come on. And the
I hope Jake Gyllenhaal has a cameo too.
Right. The brothers 3, the bromance from the Christmas sweater night. Did you heard that story? How they pranked Reynolds into being like, it's a Christmas sweater party.
Yeah. And
nobody wore their sweater. That's for a listener. So I'm very excited to see that. I mean, bromance on both of them. I think Jackman is a professional showman. Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds. I'm really happy that they're acknowledging the mistakes in the Fox universe.
Yes.
By continuing, how Disney just allowed this thing in real life to infect and infuse and just populate and brew ever so slowly. Like, I think Feige was
That's because Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool.
Right?
He is Deadpool.
And
yeah, he lives it.
Like
it is the character.
Like, it's basically like take Van Wilder and just put him in a fucking costume.
Ryan Reynolds was Reynolds was basically already Deadpool in Blade. Like
he was, in Blade Trinity, he totally was. Totally. With all the one-time one-liners.
He's a funny guy that uses the fucking sword like
oh my god.
He's been playing that character for a long
time. Mind blown.
Foreshadowing for years. I'm coming for you, Marvel. So I'm excited to see the stone. I want a sewn mouth so badly. Do I want a sewn mouth? That would really close everything. Remember first one when they sew his mouth shut in the end when they turn him into Weapon X?
I get
it. Those some Canadian
with
jokes.
With a sewn mouth, you can go. Never mind.
Just some sort of shut the fuck up, Will Wade, and sew his mouth shut. In some funny fashion that I clearly can't write. So I am stoked beyond all belief because it's the best of both worlds. It's watching these two guys as much as whatever, they're amping it up and they're gassing it up for social media and shit. But like, that's them. That genuine shit we want is going to be on screen because it already exists.
I'm so excited to find out who all the casting is
Oh God,
for the
it's
new
gonna be
X-Men.
so much.
Like I've been like trying to like in my brain sometimes like my mind will wander and I'm like, who's gonna be Cyclops? Who's gonna be Storm? Who's
We casted it. I picked Chris Pine for Cyclops. I felt if they really want to get asses in the seats and not get too new,
He's
Chris
tall.
Pine.
He's actually tall enough.
Yeah.
He's a little shorter. He's only 6. Cyclops is like 6'2", 6'3", but
I love how you're like down to the biometrics.
Scott Summers is kind of a cuck.
he truly is. He truly is.
That's amazing.
Especially when Wolverine's around.
So
I just hope. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope.
I never
whoever
thought
they
of it like
cast,
that.
Rogue has to be on point.
She does. I thought Evan Rachel Wood for Rogue. I thought some Dolores from Westworld for Rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Give her
But
a
she has
little
to
silver
fucking
streak.
fly,
Yeah, we do have to. But doesn't she take powers from somebody to get her powers of flight?
Miss Marvel.
I don't know who we're gonna get. Are we gonna get
Young Rogue,
Are we gonna get Gambit? Are we gonna get
we need a
Jubilee? Are we gonna?
Havoc, Colossus. Well, we've had Colossus, but will it be the German
Havoc
Colossus?
is
It's not German. He's Russian.
Is he
Cyclops'
Russian?
brother.
Sorry, not sorry. He's Russian. All right.
Havoc is Cyclops' brother.
Havoc and Cyclops are brothers,
Yeah.
and they're
the
immune to
one
each
who-
other's powers. So they can both like shoot each other's powers at each other, and they don't hurt each other, which is cool.
That is cool. I'm gonna go grab something to drink, and then we'll get into the rest of the show. 1 second.
Okay.
Are you gonna pause or just cut this after? Or? Like if I say some weird things, you're gonna
Yeah, basically.
get rid of it, or they can keep it in?
No, well, I know where we stopped, so do whatever you want.
I was very giddy yesterday when I saw that come out, and I almost couldn't believe it.
Sorry, say it again.
When that clip came out from Ryan Reynolds yesterday, I was so fucking giddy. I sent it to like 50 people.
Well, I thought
I'm like, it's happening.
I thought for sure Hugh Jackman was not going to do another Wolverine movie.
No.
Ryan Reynolds obviously convinced him.
And just the way
The
that those
studio
two have
probably
been,
I probably asked him, "Hey man, like, you know what I mean?"
their vibe has been so good for so long.
Mm-hmm.
This will be fun to edit out.
Yeah, I was super excited, and it played in because on the weekend I just sold somebody the comic book Wolverine '88, which is the first meeting of Deadpool and Wolverine fighting.
How much? Do you mind if I ask how much?
Less minty version.
Yeah,
How much you sell that for?
I don't. That was my lower graded version. It's like only about $100 book.
What was the grade? Good.
It was a 9.4, which is it's a near mint minus, but on a new book like that, it's like a very fine-ish.
Minus what? What's it missing?
Well, gradings on comic books, to really quickly, they go like by half marks up to 10, but they go by 2s from 1 to 2, and then they go from 5s up to 9, and then they go by 2s from 9 to 10.
Aren't they harder too on rating like stuff that's kind of like 1990 and up because people were more in collecting then? Backs and plastics existed. Like
People bought the books to just put in plastic.
You know
and
what I
keep,
mean? Like
so.
people were more conscious of like, am I using acid-free paper and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, from about like the late 80s on.
Yeah.
Modern books, like you have to have one that's near perfect. But yeah, it's like a 9 in the rating scale is really fucking good, but the difference between a 9 and a 9.8 is huge dollar
Would
amounts.
you
Like
say
Yeah, I would
tenfold-
imagine.
Would you say it's
tenfold.
logarithmic?
It's exponential.
Interesting. All right, well, let's get into it. And before we started the show, ladies and gentlemen, it was funny because we almost started the show without recording it. We picked these lists from some of the websites that I enjoy getting all my movie news from, and I wanted to
Shout out to
argue-
Collider.
Yeah, shout out to Collider for this one. I wanted to see what we think, if this is correct at all, if this is missing a thing or two. Who do we think maybe should be on it from the last, whatever?
Write in our comment section.
Yeah, or leave a voicemail too. There's tons of ways to agree or disagree with us here, and we love interactions. We love to play something like blank from blank things, and then this is where your voicemail would go, and then we would be like, well, do we agree? Or
Has
disagree
there
with it?
actually been a horror villain in the 21st century that's going to go down in all time?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's kind of like music and literature. Like there came a point where everything became all about just pumping out content and not pumping out hits. I think that's why the 60s and the 70s music still reigns supreme today, like literally the Supremes. Like there's something
Fans
to
of
be said.
Drake would disagree with you, motherfucker.
I know, that's fine. They can. That's their opinion. But with this, yeah, like do they make classic great horror characters in the 21st century?
Beatles
when
wouldn't
they
make
look
it today,
back?
though.
The Beatles wouldn't make it today?
Nope.
No, I agree with you. The fandom thing is
They're a studio band.
Yeah.
They're not a live band.
So first on said list, kids, that we're gonna go through here from 2004 to 2021, we have Jigsaw from the Saw franchise. Like, I don't know, horror character or just dark fucking asshole who likes to set up weird torture porn.
I think on this list, Jigsaw might be my only one that's actually going to go down as
Memorable.
memorable.
Like
to
it's
me.
in that class, like Freddy or Jason or Mike Myers.
It's a series, right? It's a long running series, just like both of
But
what
it's
you
also
mentioned.
maybe a character that would pop in your head if you were thinking about a top 10 of all time list.
And if you saw the
Yeah.
face, like if you saw that mask up on
Yeah.
a wall, right away you know what it is.
Yeah.
It's in the culture.
And most people have seen at least one Saw movie.
Yeah, that's very true. They've almost everybody's seen the first one because the first James Wan dug up so much fucking crazy what
Yeah.
the fuck moment in the
Yeah.
end of that film.
Matthew,
right?
and he had what's his face in it? Was it Matthew Modine or is it Carrie Ellis?
Carrie Ellis.
Yeah.
As you wish.
Yes.
Also, number two,
I mix
almost
those two up sometimes.
everybody's
I do.
most
I get it.
cringeworthy moment in number two where they get thrown into the pit of hypodermic needles.
Dude, that scene gives me fucking the willies. Like they have those things on their head and they're gonna clamp shut, and then the
No,
person's
they're gonna
like,
open backwards.
and she like jumps to the thing and and it's used fucking needles, and I almost got up and left the movie theater.
That was one of the most cringy movie moments I could remember.
So because of that scene in that movie, I refuse to watch any other Saw movies after that.
because they just have to get worse, right?
I
It's
did-
not like after needles, it'll be pillows.
I don't want to be
Full of
made
acid.
to feel that uncomfortable during a movie. I get the premise behind it. I'd rather be scared because I'm freaked out as opposed to, holy fuck, I don't want to be in this fucking decisions, like the worst
This
fucking
Rubik's
decision
cube
of all.
of hell.
Like it's like the worst choice ever.
I'm on board with it too. I mean,
It's like die or put your hand in acid. Fuck off.
or like a
what?
thing, or like a box of blades that when you go in, if you pull out, the blades come down, so you can't pull your hand out anymore. So you have to make a decision. Fillet myself.
it's a death escape room.
Yeah, it's total. And like, I know there's a traveling Saw escape room that does Vegas every Halloween. Like you
Oh, for sure.
you know, like a bunch of sea cans that are all Saw themed and shit. But I think horror and torture porn, because everyone likes to give it shit for being torture porn, and it like
It is to a certain degree.
it is to a certain degree, right? Like you're just watching people getting obliterated.
I say the first one wasn't so much.
No.
The first one was genuinely, what would you do in these fucked up situations? And it made people cringe, and but it feels like every time they have to top the previous one, and it's just more ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like Final Destination. Like the first one was good, and then each one after that, you're just like, get the fuck out of here.
What's the when,
Though I still get freaked out when I drive behind a truck carrying logs.
Oh, yeah, I passed a truck like that recently.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah, you're like,
fly by.
fuck this shit. Or the whole time I'm behind it, all I'm thinking to myself is, if one came flying, could I duck down fast enough? Is that possible in this car?
Let's start with Mark on this one, because I'm pretty sure I know where Rob and me sit on American Psycho. But from 2000, Patrick Bateman, horror character or mentally ill?
Like incredible extreme narcissist.
Yes.
He's a horror character.
But I mean, he turns into basically a serial killer, so it's kind of. I mean, the movie's not horror, but it's psychologically fucked.
Yeah,
I love this movie.
right?
I'm a big fan.
yeah. Bret Easton Ellis, the writer
When
of the
he's
book.
running nude with the fucking chainsaw,
Yeah.
only wearing a pair of
cut you open, bitch!
that pair of Nikes, or when he puts on the fucking, and that's like the picture we're looking at right now is when he's about to murder Jared Leto's character, and he puts the
Where's your
fucking
chow,
raincoat
man?
on,
Where's your fucking chow?
and then he puts on fucking Huey Lewis in the news.
What do you think of this one? Yeah, I think mentally ill. I don't like. I think it's. I think. I even think the fucking house in Shining is a character unto itself. Like the hotel is haunted to the point. Like there is no.
He strikes me as
That
sort
is
of,
not in the 21st century, though.
I know.
He strikes me. His character is sort of like.
He's devoid of emotion.
Well,
Or empathy.
when I was thinking, it was like Silence of the Lambs, right? It's the. Why am I blanking on his fucking name?
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, his character.
Hannibal
Lecter. He's sort of like like a young Hannibal Lecter in New York, right? Because
The Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal
of
Lecter
finance.
Hannibal Lecter was like very well dressed, and he like wined and
Well-spoken.
dined his victims, and that's sort of like.
Well, I
his
felt like
vibe.
he fattened them up like a wagyu cow.
No, but to your point, yeah, he's of perfection. He's of
Yes.
high quality.
Yes,
And I can definitely see the comparison. That
his
you're-
house is perfect. His
Yes.
fucking his morning regiment in the shower is fucking
Oh,
perfect.
yeah.
He fucks perfect,
His fucking business card is perfect.
right? Bone. That's Cillian Braille and Bone.
That screams that Anthony Hopkins character.
Could you
too.
imagine if Leonardo DiCaprio had actually made this movie? Because he was originally cast for
yeah,
this,
yeah.
and then he dropped out.
I think I read a list about that. That's
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then
I don't know. Not horror, I guess. Not really a horror character. Like horrific horror of man's inhumanity to man and the chase of perfection and the horror of obsession and all these horrors. But like no
When you
jump
say
scare.
horror villain, I think supernatural-esque almost a little bit.
Yeah. That's a good quality.
You know, like, and some would argue that like a Mike Myers or Jason aren't supernatural, but they fucking are.
let's be honest, American Psycho is more. It's more of like a suspense
Yes.
movie, right? Than I would say, quote unquote, horror.
Very true.
It's like it's it's more of a suspense thriller drama.
Do we know anything about
And honestly, it's almost a black comedy on a level.
Oh yeah.
It does have a lot of fun. Like when he's into murders and executions, right?
Like there's literally parts of American Psycho where I am laughing because it's so ridiculous.
Like when he's like, no, we're at Dorsia, and he just like lifts up his wife's like medicated head and like,
Yeah.
you'll have the peanut butter soup,
Yeah.
and it'll go with your duck. Malignant.
Never seen it.
Never. Okay, but you said pre-show one of those movies that got lost in COVID.
Absolutely, and I think part of it is too is Micheal used to really like horror movies, and she's almost gotten to this part where she saw Get Out and Us, but this type of horror movie, like where it's almost like kind of supernatural or ghost related, she's kind of like, eh.
Sure, I get it. I know.
So because of that, I haven't seen it because there's not enough of my interest to watch this on my own.
Just looking at it, I'm like, it seems like it's the same girl from the fucking Ring, but just
the same stunt double that just goes to every movie.
like it's just a creepy fucking dark world
With
fucking
long hair,
killer.
looks like she just came out of the fucking swamp.
Yeah, totally. Premise, spoiler alert for you guys. The malignant, like a malignant tumor. She has a twin that was born in the back of her head that controls the murderous side of her. So Gabriel is the other side of the girl. So that's the big twist, is that you have a girl who's, I believe, normal on some days, and then, Gabriel takes over and gets into her fucking brain.
Have you ever
and
seen the
makes
movie
her-
How to Get Ahead in Business?
No.
And it's about a guy who has like another head of himself grow out of his shoulder, but it's called How to Get Ahead in Business.
Oh, that's fun. So
Sounds
yeah,
like
I mean,
an 80s movie.
It was an 80s movie.
this feels to me, even not having seen it, the most horrorish character because it's somewhat supernatural. I mean, she was born with it, and it somehow is taken, like it didn't die, like it's been living. There's enough of the cells and the makeup of this other character to survive.
It's almost like she's a cancer
She's
of
like
sorts.
bleeding, malignant tumor, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I don't know.
I just feel it's along the same lines of The Ring, The Conjuring, all of those creepy.
Yeah, but you
whatever.
could also argue that Jason is a play on Mike Myers, and Freddy
Yeah,
is, you know
true
what I
enough.
mean? Because those all kind of in that succession of the late 70s to the early 80s.
Yeah, very true. I've seen both X and Pearl. You guys have you watched either or of them? Okay, Ty West, Mia Goth. I believe they're a couple who also write and direct and act together. Pearl is about a 70. It's they're slasher flicks, 100% through and through. Lots of blood.
I like slasher flicks.
Okay, yeah, and they're done in the vein of
Evil
cheesy,
Dead?
cheesy 70s slasher.
Okay.
So X is about the making of a porno movie where this lovely lady who you see here with the pitchfork comes out of nowhere.
Can you scroll down so we can see the poster for Pearl? I think it shows it later down here.
No.
Oh, I thought it did. Oh no, there it is. It just
Anyways, so it's the story is a cast of porn actors try to go make a film in this old farmhouse where this really old couple lives, and it's much more than just a slasher flick. But up until you realize what the point of the story is, I give both of them. They are new horror. They are horror plus. They're horror with story. They're horror with commentary. They're horror with more than just your
they're refined slasher.
Refined slasher.
So it's
is
taken
so
out of the
perfect.
basement.
Yes.
Art house kind of
Yes.
like no budget, and actually added a budget, and kind of it's from that vein.
70 to 100 million.
But then they've added the professionalism of an actual studio movie.
Yeah. And Pearl is the prequel. And the third one that's coming will be
Are these on Netflix?
No.
Crave?
X is on Amazon, and Pearl probably is just on digital release right now.
This is the first I've heard of either of them.
They didn't have they're huge in the horror community. Pearl premiered at TIFF. X
Is that like being big in Japan?
kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But like they are
It's like being big in North Korea.
they're going to be the new if what this list composes is
They're like Samsung.
yeah.
Sure.
It's just new horror, right?
Are they the Samsung of horror?
No, they're more like the Oppo of horror because they're great, but nobody fucking
They're the
knows
show
about them
me.
over here.
They're the show me.
Yeah, exactly.
And Ty West is like he's just a dark fucker. And Mia Goth, they're in Pearl. It's there is an old lady who is part of the main cast in X, and you find like she's the killer. And
The fuck, man! I haven't seen it,
it doesn't take long to figure it out. Trust me.
dude. Like
It's not a slasher where we've done it.
Where was the
She'll be the one killing people early in the movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, very early in the
Okay,
movie.
that's fair. That's fair.
But Pearl is the story of the old lady in X
As a young person.
as a young person, and its backdrop is 1918 Spanish flu, World War I. Very,
Oh.
very Wizard of Oz, but a horror movie.
Mm.
And she does a 9-minute monologue. No, like maybe two breaks, and it's just for editing. It's not for her carrying on. It is one of the
You're not really
most-
selling it.
You got.
There's a 9-minute monologue, and she only stops twice.
What happens after the 9-minute? Well, I shouldn't say stop.
You should have just said she does a 9-minute monologue. That's awesome.
Yeah, all right, we'll cut that. So to do this 9-minute monologue that's fucking awesome. And then right after that is the most shocking kill sequence I've ever seen in the history of film, in my opinion.
Whoa. In the history of film?
I've never seen something look so real that's not real
In
my
the
life.
history of film.
Yeah, it looks like it's almost snuff. It's that real. The special effects on this movie are fucking
Like
fantastic.
more. Oh, I'm not going to say.
I'm not going to
I
kill
was
it
gonna
for
say
you.
something that was really.
When it comes to digital release, if you're looking for a fun horror movie this year, this is what you do. Also, you go backwards and listen to Tim Williams' episode because we interviewed the fucking composer for Pearl.
Oh, that's right.
That's who Tim was. So I got to talk to him about making the scores with his
Cool.
Tyler Bates was his composing partner. Well, his boss.
Horror movies do have good composition and
Mark, you're gonna watch Pearl.
Well, horror movies
Yeah.
need that great soundtrack that
Yeah.
works the bass because you need your hair on the back of your neck to like stand up.
It is It's a symphony.
Yeah.
It's a fucking performance and a half of a soundtrack. It's beautiful. Moving down the list here.
When I used to sell surround sound systems, I used to always tell people there's 3 dimensions. You've got the picture, you've got the sound, but you need that bass to elevate the emotion of the
Need that
scene.
bass. So yeah, I'd say new horror. I wouldn't. She's if the way horror's going.
Is this an animated show movie?
Well, Bob. I was just saying. I don't think
Babadook.
Pearl is horror, but you guys can watch it and tell me I'm wrong. Have you seen the Babadook? Anybody?
No. He looks creepy though.
Is he related to Krampus?
I think it's in the same vein as some like creepy.
Actually, honestly, the Krampus movie would have been better up here because that movie's freaky.
Okay, widowed mother Amela struggles to get through her day-to-day routine, grappling with loneliness, depression, and raising her 6-year-old son. As her stress and frustration rises, a bizarre book appears in her home, potentially awakening the eerie monster it tells the story of. Yeah, these are 100% scary stories to tell in the dark. These are like Guillermo del Toro.
You watch
The Babadook.
Right? It's the
Baba-
Babadook.
Baba Yaga.
Baba.
Yeah, this is drop a 2 hits of acid and
So
watch
glad
this shit.
that's on camera. But it's one of those like cultural stories that come from you're like if you don't believe in Santa Claus, you believe in the Babadook.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
What are the? Yeah. There's like a Latin American
Sure, that's what I'm
with
getting
like
at.
weird creature that they fucking see, like skinwalkers and
Yes,
shit.
that's what I'm talking about. It's one of those stories.
Yes.
Brought to life, and
Okay.
Krampus is another one. I mean, okay, I'm sure it's got some sort of cultural relevance in somebody's backstory, but I mean, the Babadook is just fun to say. I'm sure we're shitting. We're going to lose everybody who loves horror and loves this movie, but like honestly, tell me we're wrong and tell us why we should watch it if it is good enough, because I like weird shit like this.
I like the idea of the historical, cultural, evil.
It's really creepy. He's like
Creature.
standing over this like little girl in a bed, and it's saying, "Let me in." That's creepy.
Oh, look at this. A good argument could be made that the Babadook's titular creature could be removed from the film entirely, as he essentially serves as an embodiment of Amelia's growing grief and depression. So maybe it's not one of those things. But like, what else to say? However, having a physical entity loom over
Is he like
Amelia,
a chupacabra?
I don't think we're getting into high science here or mythic creatures, but maybe it is just a fucking weird thing and using a creature as a vessel for someone's grief. I don't know. Moving on. The Armitage family from Get Out.
I think you need to say that again.
The Armitage family from Get Out.
They were creepy as fuck.
See, and this is where I have the issue with
Sure.
like
Tell
horror.
Collider what you feel.
Horror villain. Like I don't. Yes, they were like the were they the protagonists or antagonists? I guess the antagonists of the movie.
Yeah.
The bad guy, the villain. But
They were trying to take.
Is
implant
somebody
other people's brains?
Is somebody dressing up as them for Halloween?
True.
Do you go to sleep at night and have horror dreams about these? No, you don't have horror dreams about these people. You have fucking horror dreams about Freddy.
I have horror dreams about what they're gonna do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's fucking creepy psychological people in a lot of different movies.
They were good, and
Yeah.
the movie's great. The movie's fantastic.
Movie is
It's solidified Jordan Peele in this class of directors and writers. That's like
who saw that coming?
Totally. Like you were like the guy from like the funny like skit comedies.
He's gonna be the biggest horror suspense director of the.
He's our new Hitchcock.
Dude, he totally is. Boom.
He's like Hitchcock.
Does he
and-
do a
and
cameo in
M.
each
M.
one?
Night Shyamalan
I don't think he
twisted
does.
into
He's
one.
what M. Night Shyamalan should have been.
Exactly.
M. Night, if it's M. Night Shyamalan if he took the other turn.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. Armitage family, sinister as fuck.
M. Night has some good fucking
He
movies,
does.
though. Let's be
And,
honest.
This new Cabin movie, the trailer looks fantastic.
Does
by the
it?
way.
Cool.
I'll show you after.
I still love The Village.
So good.
It's such a good premise.
So good. Bryce Dallas Howard and what's his face? Tall, lanky fuck from the piano. We love him.
Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody. I don't know about Armitage family. They are just racist fucks who want to control black people. I don't think, I mean, that's horrific, but I don't think of them as horror characters. Like they're scary that if I was in their home, but they're not truly scary, right? They're not, and I guess maybe I'm rooted in 90s and 80s horror where a lot of it is supernatural. A lot of it is mythical. A lot of it is.
What was their premise for choosing young black people specifically?
Wasn't it the sad argument that it was just they believed that they could control black people's thinking and have them do their bidding? Wasn't that what it was? It was the science behind.
Oh, okay.
Like
I need to rewatch it.
like a fucked up lobotomy with the T, and then they do the Armitage's bidding, right? And they were just sending their daughter out to bring young black men back. It was a fucking great premise. So weird, but I don't think they're horrific, but they're not horror. We can do Kevin Wendell, aka the Beast from Split,
This is basically a superhero movie.
right? Not a horror character.
No.
No, we can.
Well, Split wasn't a superhero movie.
It was. There was like
The
the
character-
3 movies. Broken. It's basically
Unbroken.
Yeah.
Split, and
But
then
but Split is analyzing just his character and how he had all the multiple personalities that embodied
But
it.
they treated it like he had a superpower and could climb the ceiling. Like it didn't have.
Yeah.
It had like
like when the Beast takes over. That's the
I like the fact that he became
supernatural.
super strong, and it was like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
He's a creepy dude.
He was
Yeah.
James
Right.
McAvoy was really good on the role. And it was a
Yeah.
cool movie, but I wouldn't really consider him a greatest horror villain.
Yeah, like that's a big title, and you know what? The motherfucker deserves an Oscar for how well he
Glass.
split. Glass. There it is. Yeah. How well he split up in this movie. Watching him go from character to character is awesome. It's fun. These are fun movies.
Yeah, male character, female character, young,
Right?
old, this, that. Yeah.
Like it's a character study in just being characters. But and there's nothing bad about the movie. I enjoyed the movies for what they were, but I don't see greatest horror character of the 21st century.
Me neither.
James McAvoy, his best movie since Wanted. Just kidding.
I have not seen The Witch, and I don't know who
I
Black
haven't
Phillip is.
seen it either. Is Black Phillip supposed to be the goat there?
In 1630 New England, a family is cast out of their village and forced to live alone in the wilderness. It isn't long before strange occurrences plague the family and tensions rise. As well, suspicions that something supernatural may be at work. Okay, maybe we have a supernatural character here.
I don't know. It seems like they were plagued by ergot of rye.
Looks bad.
I'm sure it's okay.
You're missed.
I'm just kidding.
Rising O'Toole, Robert Eggers came out swinging. Robert Eggers also did Barbarian, or no, not Barbarian, the Viking movie. Also did The Lighthouse. He makes just really basic movies that are really fucking weird. Directorial debut, slow burn psychological horror masterpiece, immediately establishing his own brand. Among the film's unforgettable images is that of the family's black furred goat, dubbed by the children as Black Phillip, after a demonic figure from a nursery rhyme. As the film progresses, the creature lives up to the name, especially in a chilling off-screen moment in the film's climax, where it's implied Black Phillip has revealed his true sinister form. All right, we have shape-shifting, changing, demonic
Next.
possession.
Skinwalkers.
Right?
Next.
No, I don't know. I might say horror. Am I wrong?
No, this is a horror movie.
All right.
It's like a historical.
Yeah, but as Black Phillip in the fucking
it's
zeitgeist, does anybody know who fucking? If you stopped 100 people on the street, does anybody know who Black Phillip
Hey,
is?
hey, hey, who's Black Phillip? Let's get Billy on the street to do it. Yeah, you're right. Not 21st. The Entity it follows.
Never
which
seen it.
Was I don't want to ruin this movie for you because when I watched it, I was like, oh, that's smart, and it's kind of like the horror plus stuff. I do not believe that this is it's a great play on treating what actually is the antagonist and giving it a thing, because I imagine it would do the exact same thing if it was a real character. But yeah, it's about a sexual assault and what happens after. And this entity follows her everywhere, and then the entity is more than what you see in this photo. It's freaky. It's psychological. It's looming. I think it's more of a horror. Yeah, it's a horror character. It's a great horror character. But yeah, again, experimental horror, right? Not something that is in the zeitgeist, as Mark would say.
Well, you want to take something? I think the fucking supernatural spirit from It is much more horror villain.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Than that.
That's
Yeah,
that.
You
where's
want to take
fucking
something right
Pennywise
up
on
yeah,
this
where's
list?
Pennywise and the spirit that is it?
Well, 21st century, so they're
Yeah, but the
excluding
remake
I
was
know,
the
I
remake.
know,
Yes.
but maybe they're excluding the fact that the original came from the 80s and to say
The
21st.
original wasn't a movie; it was a made-for-TV movie.
That's right.
It was a mini-series.
It was one of
So
the first.
fucking
fuck that
Pennywise.
shit. It's a fucking dual fucking movie in the 2010s.
It's bullshit.
Last on the list
It's
is
bullshit. What about fucking Pennywise?
the multiverse people in Tethered. Did you guys see
This movie was creepy too. It wasn't as good as Get Out, but it was a cool premise, and it kind of all the scenes with the carnival and stuff are kind of freaky. But part of it was I just had a kid and I was kind of freaked out by that.
Sure, that'll affect you. I like shit that plays with, like, I don't understand why I see a copy of myself, and you're not getting that explained.
This is also one of the last movies I saw before kind of all the COVID lockdowns happened, because would have seen this like late August, early September of 2019.
Yeah, like 3-5 months before.
Yeah.
I think whoever made this list is bootlicking Jordan Peele.
That could. Do you think Jordan Peele paid for this list?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well,
Number 2, get out.
Yeah.
Number 1, us.
I mean, one thing I think we can all agree here is that the greatest horror villains of the 21st century suck. And
if this is any indication, this is a sample size.
Well, the other thing is too is, I mean, if you some of these movies are good horror movies. I'm
They're
not gonna
great.
say,
Nothing against the film.
But there's also a lot of great horror movies in the last 20 years that don't have a specific character, right? Like, I actually really liked Astronaut's Wife, which is a remake of Rosemary's Baby, but just from a different context, right?
Interesting.
You know what I mean? I would maybe consider that a horror movie, right? All the Haunting movies. What's that one with Ryan Reynolds? The Haunting in Connecticut, is that him? Or
You're thinking Amityville Horror remake?
Amityville Horror remake? That was.
I would argue that your
freaky.
iconic horror characters, villains are like, there's more than one movie about them, and they're like, it started with your Draculas, Frankensteins, mummies, like those classics, and it turned into your Freddys and your Jasons and your Mike Myers and your, those are the iconic. There's series. They've been in so many things. You see it. You know who the fuck it is.
Also, the 80s was when horror movies like got their hit their fucking stride.
Budgets started increasing. Markets were there. They noticed people.
But there was
gave a
also
shit.
like an allure for it, right? Like that was like you wait like. Like in the 90s and the early 2000s, you knew that there was always going to be an awesome horror movie that came out at the end of August, beginning of September, and it was like that date movie you would go to in late summer.
That jump scare movie.
Like the nights are starting to get a little bit cooler, and
even
you're
fucking Pumpkinhead or whatever.
Yeah.
He's more of a fucking bad guy, villain, creature. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, fucking Leatherface.
Again, remade.
There was a remake.
3 remakes of Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This list is bullshit.
I concur. I mean,
who paid for this list?
Not bad films, but not a good.
It's
list.
like when there's
Collider.
it's like when there's
I
like
like
a
you, but-
scientific study,
Yeah.
and it's like sugar's the greatest, and you're like, who financed this?
Yeah,
Sugar Association of America.
Sponsored by Sugar.
Sponsored by Sugar. Next,
Sponsored by Big Sugar.
Big Sugar.
That top
Like
10
the
list
band?
was sponsored by Big Jordan Peele.
Okay, so next list, then we'll close this shit out and send everybody home.
Which
ladies
is this
and gentlemen.
Collider again or Screen Rant?
This is courtesy of Screen Rant. This is 10 horror characters that were low-key justified in
horror movie villains.
Is it horror movie villains? Is that what? I don't want to misquote them. 10 horror movie villains who were low-key justified according to Reddit. Well, we've got Reddit being pulled on Screen Rant, being pulled on The Real Debaters. That's some Inception shit right there. So, first question: the creature in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, was he low-key justified in everything that he did?
Well, first off, let's talk about that Robert De Niro is fucking awesome in this role.
Right? Look
And-
at Ugly Bobby.
And this is a good movie, man. I mean, Kenneth Branagh is super good
Did
in
he
this.
direct? Did he?
I don't know if he
did
directed it, but he was definitely the main star.
Yeah. Oh, well, he's done.
You know what? Frankenstein's monster is. I feel sorry for him.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Because
He doesn't
isn't he
fucking
just
know.
searching for humanity and
Exactly.
acceptance?
He doesn't know.
He's made.
Yeah.
He
He's
was
also
created
he
with-
also has a super powerful body, but he's got the intellect of like a
Yeah.
child.
He's a baby. He's a little kid. He doesn't
He's
know
like
any better.
fucking Lenny.
He totally, man. There's just no rabbits in this one.
Yeah. No, I totally think that.
Oh yeah, I feel sorry for him. It's
Yeah.
a fucking crazy doctor that creates this thing, and then what does he know?
Yeah, and I mean everything we know about when you fuck with humanity and science and try to clone us or, do whatever, it never ends well. Like it's always with some evil intention in mind. Like this doctor didn't get up and be like, I want to make a friend.
Can you believe Kenneth Branagh is 62? What the
I can't actually.
fuck?
Watching him kick ass in Tenet, I don't want to
guy's a
believe that.
fucking magician.
Okay,
man.
all around the room, low-key justified, agreed?
Oh,
Yes?
yeah,
Okay.
100%.
Oh fuck yeah!
In all versions of Frankenstein's monster.
Just a second. I'm just trying to check to see who directed.
Oh, yeah, Mary Shelley. I don't know when he started getting behind the camera.
Oh, it was Kenneth Branagh.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Why do I know that? Number 9, King Kong, the 2005 version.
I wouldn't
Low-key
consider this a
justified?
horror villain. First off,
You would?
I would not.
I wouldn't either.
Nor would
consider,
I.
I don't
Yeah.
consider this a horror movie.
Well, what made him this way?
But he is justified as fuck. He could fucking eat every. He can rip down the Empire State Building. He got fucked in
Oh,
the
fuck
ass.
humanity. Exactly.
Yeah.
He
You
can go
should
on a
have just
temper.
left him on his island.
You know,
You-
leave him on Crazy Skull Island.
Jack
Exactly.
Black went to Skull Island and fucked shit up and said he would donate the proceeds. You remember that line?
Can I be honest? This is a great movie though.
Oh, the
It's
Peter
fucking
Jackson.
awesome.
This was a Christmas Day movie for me with
Yeah.
my mom, watching those
Yeah.
Tyrannosaur Rexes tumble through
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
mountains.
yeah.
Oh my
Because
god!
this is when you know, like when there was like that little bit where like 3D was actually pretty good for a while, and it wasn't just there was a
Yeah,
few movies
no,
that came
it
out where the
was.
3D actually did well, like Avatar. There was a few other
I was
ones.
just going to say, like, other than Avatar.
Well, this is one of the only. This is also I love the fact that like Peter Jackson's coming off Lord of the Rings, right? And he's like, I'm doing fucking King Kong. Give
Yeah,
me
yeah, yeah.
$200 million to do this.
Look what I did for you.
And I will cast Adrian Brody as the protagonist.
And Naomi Watts as
Yeah.
a girl captured by King Kong. It was fun, and it was in the vein of everything that King Kong is. It was an over the top movie. It was special effects at the time. Like it's just he's being like, they made
Well,
it this
that's
way
what
then. I'm making it with this what I
They
got
took
now.
the facial motion capture to the next level.
Andy Serkis,
Yeah.
best fake monkey in the business. So Loki justified, yes, all around
Justified,
the room.
yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of been typecast as an ape in ape roles.
Yeah. Anything.
Yeah.
Well, apes, and what else did he do?
Gollum.
Gollum. So things that crawl on all fours.
Super powerful apes and Gollum.
This one, Chrissy, we're keeping you in mind because it's a Stephen King note. Cujo,
I don't really remember, like, how was Cujo wronged?
rabies, a rabid dog.
He got rabies, right?
He got
And
rabies.
I don't know
but-
much
but-
about Cujo.
But he was massive, too, though.
Yeah, he was a big Saint Bernard who got rabies.
Oh, okay. I just remember, like, the kids trapped in the fucking shitty 70s car, and
Yeah, he's infected with rabies from a bat bite.
that's what it was from.
I thought
He
that
had
was-
coronavirus. He had
thought that was-
COVID.
That was a trailer for Turner and Hooch.
Guys, we know where that totally. We know where coronavirus came from.
Yeah. It's in
Cujo.
the bottom corner of that. Yeah. Okay. So the bat virus has been around since.
It didn't come from the wet market. It came from Cujo.
Stephen King invented it. There you go. First bat. No.
And you know what? You know what's great about Cujo? This is when Stephen King was at his greatest. This is when he was like fucking locking himself in a room, smoking cigarettes,
Right,
drinking
right,
whiskey,
right,
and just doing
right.
tons of cocaine and just cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. I can see him just typing away, fucking with a cigarette in his hand, fucking like with the mirror, just fucking banging rails, fucking yeah. Cujo, written.
Another hit.
Shining, written.
Rabbit dog.
Pet Cemetery.
Check. Yeah, you can't get angry at a dog, and we're all animal owners. You can't get angry at an animal that comes in, like it's scary and it's fun. Where it's a new premise, it's a new idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a rabid dog going after a bunch of kids in a small town in Maine. Well, everything takes place in Maine in his world, but
Or Oregon.
that's true. That's true. Sorry if I got my
Stand by me.
Carrie. Bullying.
I don't
Oh.
like in the article how they reference the remake when really like the original
Yeah.
is like,
It is that prom scene in the original is way better. than
but
anything
she
they
is
could do.
fucking justified as fuck.
Oh, her mother fucking turned her into that. Come on.
She had nowhere to go.
No.
Her mother's a bitch, a terrible mother.
She gets raped, right? That's part of. Is that part of the new one or the original too?
I can't remember if she gets raped in the original one.
I don't
know, but the
was
girls are
original.
just so mean and malicious, and everyone is just so.
I think we can all
horrible
agree.
to her.
Yeah, very, very fucking low.
Like
low to her.
you're rooting for her to fucking kill everybody.
Yeah,
You are. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's the good guy in that fucking movie.
Totally.
And how many, like, every one of us has been bullied by somebody bigger than you, right? Like, bullying is cyclical.
There's some situation, right?
Yeah, you've been
Just like most people have bullied somebody else, and people have been bullied, like,
Now, I'm not justifying like a Columbine situation here,
No.
via a la Carrie.
but in the supernatural world
But
of
hear me out.
Carrie, but hear me out. She's justified.
Yes, very much so. This is all on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. We do not condone any of these actions in real life. The Thing in The Thing. The Thing in The Thing.
I mean,
I haven't seen this.
Oh,
I mean, you've got an alien that crashes into Antarctica and is just trying to
Oh, that's the one.
live.
it's a virus, essentially.
Totally.
Yes.
And you can't blame a virus who is a single-cell organism. You can't blame it for...
Propagating.
Yeah.
It's one
It's binary, man.
direction is just to propagate.
Yeah. It has no other mission in life. So it didn't come with an intent. It just doesn't know any better. It's like a giant fucking temper tantrum it has.
The Thing is great.
The Thing is such a great... That's also Stephen King, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
No,
Is that-
it's John Carpenter.
John Carpenter. Well, John Carpenter
Oh.
movie, but is it The Thing? Is it a... I don't know if it's a book or not.
To the internet.
Somebody fact check that.
Fact check that shit. Jamie, fact check that shit.
Wobby Wob.
Jigsaw shows back up on number 5. I don't...
Wait. We're still on The Thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Fucking.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to find out for you right now who wrote The Thing.
I also love the fact
wrote
that it's
The
like, like this Norwegian fucking Antarctic base. And
yeah,
like,
that
you
is
know,
a cool premise, right? Where nothing
where
can
that's
survive.
where it comes from. And like the prequel, which, is the movie that was made like in the last 10 years.
Okay, I didn't know.
So there's a movie. What's the new one?
Who wrote the
called?
book? Stay on target.
John Carpenter. No, the writer of it was a guy named Bill Lancaster.
Okay, so it's an original. All right.
Well, there's another movie. I think it's just called Thing, isn't it?
Saw.
No, it's called The Thing.
The
It's the
Thing.
2011 version.
Okay, I think that... Who did that star? Did that star of the
Joel
Scars-
Egerton.
Joel Egerton. That's a good Kurt Russell redux. Number 5, Jigsaw. How do we justify Jigsaw?
I don't remember what screwed him up.
Does he have cancer or something? Or
Okay, Jigsaw was a man dying of cancer that took people who weren't thankful for their lives and had given them a choice for his games to fight for their lives. While his mindset was certainly twisted, some fans of the films thought he wasn't entirely unjustified in his acts. Reddit user Pete Noodles said, Jigsaw always seemed somewhat justifiable. You dark fuck. Jigsaw was directly responsible for putting his victims in situations that risked their lives, but he did allow them chances to survive. Who fucking raised
by
you?
being maimed.
No shit. You don't walk away.
And also by potentially
Whole.
killing others.
Yeah. Like there was
Oh,
always
you're a
some-
surgeon. Let's give you a situation where you cut off one of your hands, but you'll never be able to be a surgeon again.
Yeah, no.
I hope you
not.
learned your lesson. Fuck that.
Fans believe he wasn't entirely unjustified and rather just tried to prove a point in his terribly twisted. No, you've got so many bases before you get to this one.
Yeah,
Thanos, justified.
obviously. So, question: would you snap your finger in his shoes?
Oh, I think what he saw and what he knows.
Moral question.
He knows something. I think Thanos was right.
Yeah. I'm okay with a snap. And I mean that in that if I get snapped, so be it. It's the easiest way to go.
And it's random.
Yeah, it is. It's
Right?
It's just. It's not unjust. Number 4, Jason Voorhees.
I mean, again, I guess this is one of those situations where he was teased, right?
True.
And drown.
But didn't he drown?
He
Yeah.
did drown.
And it was like neglect from the counselors on why he drowned at Camp Crystal Lake.
Crystal Lake Camp. yeah.
Jason's mother was the original killer, right? So she's essentially justified.
I don't think it was justified at all.
No, I mean Life for a Life. We're not that show.
No.
We're clearly not that Reddit user from.
Though
before.
now that I am a parent, I understand how people murder motherfuckers.
What a parent does in that situation.
I get it. I kind of get it.
That became apparent to you?
Like I can't wait for them. Now.
I might be a
It's been so
dad,
long.
but I won't turn down a good dad joke.
So, but yeah, Voorhees himself, if he actually was the killer, justified from being teased and bullied at
No,
camp. And
they're both
drowned.
not. It's
No,
not
no,
justified.
No, no.
Not like Carrie had it way worse.
Yeah,
I mean, she didn't die, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
She also has supernatural powers that she was had just gotten, and so
Yeah.
she couldn't completely control them properly, and she had emotional angst.
Very Jean Grey.
If
Very fire starter.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, not Justified. Number 4. So that's
Fuck you, Jason.
Silent Hill. Do you guys remember watching Silent Hill?
No.
Yeah, so this is the little girl that always appears and disappears, right?
Yeah, and keeps her running into the village when it goes
Yeah.
Silent Hilly. But what happened to her? So Silent Hill, more powerful video game version, depicting her as being not able to only consume the town with the mysterious fog, but also
You need to
create
talk
monsters.
into the mic, bro.
I know. Before she became a vengeful spirit, Alyssa was a young girl buried alive for supposedly being a witch.
Ooh. Justified in taking revenge on the people directly responsible for her being buried alive, but not generations later.
Correct. I concur.
Vengeance and then done.
Accusing a small child of being a witch and then burying them is some fucked up shit.
They burnt a child in Game of Thrones. No, you shouldn't do these things to a child. Is my point.
When King Joffrey deserved.
The
That's called just deserved.
Oh, that
motherfucker.
dude!
Yeah.
Whoever fucking killed him is justified in doing that. I'll tell you that.
To be fair, that's fair.
That's one of those parts where you're reading the book and you're like, yes, fuck that guy.
Oh, I've never been so happy to see a child die.
Michael Myers. Mike Myers. Rob Zombie's adaptation of the classic Halloween was different in many ways from the original.
I have actually not
plotline.
seen the Rob Zombie version.
Nor
It's
have I.
so fucking. It's a weird thing to be talking about because all I hear is the David Gordon Green versions are all you need to watch. It's from the first film in the 70s, and then he just forgets that the rest and the bad shit were made. He just carries on the story that you like. But in this one, he does come from a mental ward.
I mean, Rob Zombie is he's a good filmmaker. He's a good eye.
He is, and his other stuff like the House of a Thousand Corpses and the Devil's Rejects. He does play in the vein of your '80s slasher.
But he also he plays really well in that kind of redneck kind of
hillbilly.
Don't go to this weird fucking town, in the middle of fucking
the
nowhere,
fucking
USA.
Hills Have Eyes.
Oh yeah,
Bingo.
The Hills Have Eyes is fucking scary.
Bingo.
It's like no.
Deliverance on Radiation. Yeah, no, they do cast him as somebody who was picked
Deliverance on radiation.
on again. They do cast Mike Myers as somebody who's come from trauma, who was bullied again. So it is a different take on it because in the original, you actually don't know. I think we're going to find out. I think I'm maybe Jimmy or Charles can reference this, but I think you find out why Myers does what he does in the last one. So now this one is everyone knows what's up, and it's Halloween ends. So I can't say enough to say justified or unjustified. I just
don't know why somebody would want to murder so many people in that sweaty latex mask.
Yeah, I pick about her. At least the goalie mask had some ventilation.
And wasn't fogging up the old spectacles.
Yeah, and I feel like you're at least you have some peripheral.
When you see Mike Myers, you he
See Captain Kirk?
5 minutes before they rolled tape, it's we need something for wardrobe. Get that jumpsuit. Grab that fucking mask.
Jamie Lee Curtis
There
just
you go.
had it in her purse.
Exactly, right?
Will this do?
Yeah.
Somebody left this at my.
And just a random fucking mechanic's jumpsuit.
My son went out trick-or-treating last night. Will this help? He went out as Captain Kirk. Excuse me. Number 1 on the list is a movie I've never even fucking heard of.
It is. It's a Captain Kirk mask, right? That they spray painted white. Yeah.
They bleached it white. They removed all of the other features and stretched it and fucked with it, and now you have and this was unknown to Shatner, I believe, for a very long time. He just didn't know, right?
I feel like Shatner's so egotistical though that he loves it.
I'm sure Shatner now is if Shatner's anything like he was on Boston Legal, or he's I'm Denny Crane, he could do the most notoriously stupid shit, just walk away and be I'm Denny Crane. I feel he can be I'm William Shatner.
Yeah.
Number 1 on the list before we let you go, everybody, Mary.
Never seen it.
From American Mary.
Nope.
I don't know anything about it, but in this dark.
You know what? We don't even give a shit about fucking Mary. Fuck her.
Okay.
You know what I want to say?
What do you want to say?
Why?
Mary kill murder.
Why is Freddie not in here? Freddie, pretty justified.
Go
the
on.
fucking parents in the town fucking got together and they fucking burnt him alive in a
right.
fucking furnace.
Wasn't he
That's
like a
right.
child? Wasn't he?
Well,
Was he just a weirdo?
No, he was a weirdo, but some bad stuff happened in the town, and they assumed it was
and they
him.
assumed it was him.
But it wasn't him.
They fucking murder him.
Oh, just
and then
like
Because he was the school custodian.
Exactly. And then he takes revenge on those families and their children.
It
Pretty
would
much
be,
justified.
It would be like if everybody decided to burn Willie.
From Free Willy?
No. From Simpsons.
Yeah.
Why are you referencing? Why are you doing? Why are you trapping? me?
I don't know.
Why? I don't know that episode, Rob.
Isn't there a Halloween special where Willie is? Yeah.
And they're making fun of
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
But I mean, realistically, they all got fucking together and they murdered him and they covered it up.
I kind of.
I don't know. I think you
I'm
should.
like 80%.
If you
on
have
that
the
with you.
ability to come back in people's dreams and fuck with those people that fuck with you, fucking go right ahead.
But he doesn't really
go,
fuck.
girl.
He fucks with their kids.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but
Whatever.
you just said not for generations
in
and
that
shit.
one, I'll allow one generation. I'll allow it.
Pass.
Maybe he only had the power of going into the kids' dreams. I don't know. He never went into the parents. Maybe it was a prepubescent
I'm
mind.
sorry.
that he
I'm sold on this bill of goods.
Fucking Freddy was justified. Somewhat.
Freddie was justified.
Somewhat.
There you go. Freddie takes over number one.
You need the meme, where that guy's sitting at the table and it says, Freddie was justified. Prove
me wrong. All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You have horror villains of the 21st century.
Are we going to
greatest.
reference these URLs in the
They will be
comment
in there.
sections?
They will be in there. They are
excellent. In
saved
the
in the-
descriptions.
They're saved in the show.
If anybody
notes
has a
file.
really good 21st century fucking horror villain, let us know.
or
That can hang with
yeah.
Freddy and
Really
Jason.
good.
that's
And-
up there in name and clout.
Fucking
Because there's probably some that
Dracula.
we missed here.
Well, we just did the list. Like
I mean, we're just taking. We're just interpreting.
interpret.
Fuck, I can't even talk.
That's easy for you to say.
We're interpreting.
That's 3 for you tonight.
There's three.
Yeah,
three of
we
those
are.
for me?
We're interpreting someone else's genius. Clearly, I quote that. And I just thought it would be fun to kind of like, okay, let's take this shit. Like, I mean, it's not hard to make a list, but let's see what someone else has to say and where we stand with Collider and Screen Rant.
I like
on
picking
this.
apart lists that are thrown together because
Yeah.
you can find two websites that have the same top 10 list and they don't have anything in common.
Yeah, they're so
It's all subjective.
totally 100%. And as Mark said, with the villains, if you have a low-key justified horror villain who you feel what they went through was totally in film agreeable, leave a voicemail.
And I am willing to fucking sell my house and give the proceeds if we stopped somebody on the street and said, name the top 5 horror villains of all time, and Black Phillip was on anybody's list. $500,000 is yours.
Challenge accepted.
I mean,
Is there a way to stage this?
Freddy, Jason, Mike Myers, Black Phillip.
ladies
But
and
Black
gentlemen,
Phillip sounds like the name of like an orca whale at like SeaWorld.
Exactly.
it sounds like
Here comes Black Phillip.
it sounds like the guy.
Or it's like a guy's porn name.
yeah, I was gonna say it
Who
sounds
has like
a
a
guy
very large penis.
he's low key on the set. It was Black Phillip. Who's Black Phillip? Oh, you'll see.
It's kind of like an orgasm. Black Phillip was the stunt cock in Orgasmo.
I haven't seen that movie since never.
You never seen it?
I've never seen Orgasm.
So there's a one scene because he's like a Mormon and he's like he does the scenes, but he refuses to do the sex scene. So they bring a stunt cock in. So he goes stunt cock, and like a black guy comes in. They're like, "Do you see a problem with this?" Nah.
Oh, of the times. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to another episode. If this is your first time, go backwards, listen to a bunch of other shit. There's a long list of interviews, debates, arguments, theorizing, all the things we've tried to do, all the things we've now figured out we like to do, and how we do the show now, so you can learn and grow and experience and laugh and masturbate with us all you want. If this is your first time, listen to the end credit portion of this show where we tell you how to join the Debaterverse and be a part of all of our shit. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Real Debaters Pod. REEL is the spelling for everything. I've been Michael Petrow.
I'm Rob Strachan.
Mark Cowell.
Third man, Mark Cowell. Watch all the movies, kids. Say bye, everybody.
We are now done mass debating over horror villains.
We are. We are.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's weird.
On, over, in, through, whatever. Say bye, everybody. Say bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.